in their own world. When a person is joyous, he shares, he's open, he's loose, he's accessible, and he walks over to people, relates to people. When a person fears of something very dreadful, a person actually shrinks in themselves and they remove themselves from the world around them. Yitzchak was basically fear of Hashem. Yitzchak symbolized the fear, Yira Shamayim. Pachad Yitzchak, it says, the fear of Yitzchak, of the Almighty. This is the union of Yitzchak.
That was a good fear.
It was a good fear. Definitely a good fear. But in nature, it is a person scared. It says, even the Mittel Rebbe says, the same Rebbe says, that when it comes to Yitzchak, he says it in a different discourse. When it comes to Yitzchak, he says, it was like sitting and both of his knees banging into each other out of fear. This was the state of fear that he lived in. Of Hashem, of the Almighty.
Why?
That was his neshama. He was the one that actually generated fear in the service to the Almighty, to the Jewish nation. This is what he inherited to the Jewish nation.
It was more than Abraham.
More than Avram. By Avram, it was in a concealed way. Mm-hmm. But because Avram's connection, relationship to the Almighty was with love, affection. Ava. Avram Eavi. Avram, my friend. By Yitzchak, it says, Pachad Yitzchak, the fear of Yitzchak. By Yankov was a merge that blended them both together, fused them together. This is the union of mercy, the union of Rachamim. In Sfiras, it is Chesed, Gvura, and Tiferes. Chesed is the open flow, Gvura is the restriction, and that is why Yitzchak was digging wells. What's the idea of digging wells? Bringing up from below to above, bringing up and revealing the water. The same thing in every person's soul, revealing the well that is found in every Jewish soul. The well and the Mayim Chayim. Mayim Chayim, the live water, the real energy, the real stream and genuine flow that is found in every Jewish soul. So this is basically Avram, Yitzchak, Yankov. This will be helpful to understand further why Yankov was so involved. So we're actually... The Mittel Rebbe is discussing all the different people in this picture to understand exactly what took place over here. Leah and Rachel and Leah symbolize the two Heys of Hashem's name, the four-letter name Yud-Kei Vav-Kei. Leah is the first Hey, and Rachel is the second Hey.
Not the reverse,
huh?
Not the reverse.
Not the reverse.
Reason?
Leah, we'll soon get to it.
Sorry.
We're going to unfold everything on the table. Leah is considered Shem Hagdela. Hagdela, the name of the older one, was Leah. The name of the second one, Haktana, is called Rachel. So Hasidus brings a very interesting word. It's probably based on Kabbalah. Hagdela means Hey Gedoyla, the bigger Hey. That's the first Hey. That is Bina. Bina is thought. The Hey, the first Hey of Hashem's name is thought, Bina. The second name are the three garments, thought, speech, and deed. But this thought is already a garment to the real thought, which is analysis. Bina is analysis, and this is already thought as it's already a garment, how a person is thinking in his own language. Ktana, Rachel, is considered Malchut, which is basically Haktana, the second Hey.
The small one.
The small Hey, which descends into the lower world. Now we can start understanding why Yankov loved Rachel. Yankov's concept, as we'll mention further, was to draw everything down into the lower worlds. He was in the world of Elam Hatzilus, which is godliness. There's no angels there, there's nothing there. It's higher than even the level of an angel. And therefore, in order that he should be able to draw down into the lower worlds, he figured that Rachel is the right attribute and the channel through which he will be able to draw down all the revelations that he is receiving from higher and be able to draw it down through Rachel. What? Because Rachel is basically represents speech. Thought, speech, and deed. And speech is the revelation of the person. How does a person relate to the outside world? When they speak. A person could think a whole day, another person will not figure out what he's thinking about. The communication channel is speech. And therefore, by speaking, this is the way it is drawn down the thoughts, emotions, intellect of one person to another. That's how two people share with each other information. And that's how a relationship develops. And therefore, Yankov loved very much Rachel because he felt she is the right channel to draw down all the revelations. We'll soon get to Leah why Yankov did not feel that Leah would be the right channel for this. Yeah, I'm sorry.
You said Leah, okay,
Later.
Rachel represents Malchus.
Later the questions.
Correct?
Yeah.
And Malchus was also the three garments of thought, speech, and deed?
Malchus is three garments, but
Three
they're
garments.
garments, they're not vessels.
Right.
So it's more removed from the soul.
Okay.
Okay, so just wanted to say maybe we can hold the questions till later
Okay.
because we have to cover a lot of ground to write the questions. So.
It's easier also because the flow, then it'll be easier to understand it. Now, Yankov said, I want to work for Rachel 7 years. Who is he working for? He's working for his father-in-law. Not such an illustrious person, but he's working for his father-in-law, Lavan. Comes Chasidus, and this is all based on Kabbalah. Lavan represents the attribute of royalty. Not only royalty, the crown, Keser. The word Lavan means loiven, pure, genuine. The white color, white, is the symbol of genuine quality. This is basically Keser. Lavan said, I want to work 7 years. Why 7 years? I want to bring down the 7 attributes as they are in Keser, as they are on the level of his father-in-law, on a spiritual level, and work it through and channel through these revelations through Rachel, in order to bring it down from the world of Keser,
Which is crown.
the crown, which is higher than Atzilus, and draw it down through Malchus, which is Rachel, and thereby drawing it down to Bria, Yitzira, and Asiya. To bring, as mentioned earlier, the lower worlds, bringing it down into the lower worlds. This was the aim of Yankov. And therefore Yankov loved Rachel and loved Yosef, because Yosef represented the attribute of Yesod. Yesod is the attribute that usually streams the flow into Malchus. And that's why it says, Eila Tildes Yankov Yosef. It says, this is the biography of Yankov and Yosef. It says, what is Yankov and Yosef? That they went together. From Tiferes, from Yankov, it went through the channel of Yosef, which is Yesod. Because when we look at the 10 attributes, there are 3 columns. There's the right column, there's the left column, there's the middle column. The right column is Chochmah, Chesed, Netzach. The left column is Bina, Gvura, and Hod. The right column, I mean the generous column. The left column is the strict column, Bina, Gvura, Hod. The middle column is Das, Tiferes, and Yesod.
I didn't know that.
That's mercy.
That's mercy, right. Das, Tiferes, Yesod. You didn't know it after 20 years, then I'm really doing something wrong.
No, I'm picking stuff up. No, I knew it, but I didn't know.
Das, Tiferes, Yesod. The Mittel Rebbe actually once drew a diagram. It's the only
very
place
rare,
you
right?
find in a discourse a diagram.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3, 3, and 4.
3, 3, and 3.
You're talking about the spheres?
Ten,
I don't know
yes.
exactly what the spheres are now.
The spheres are the attributes. The attributes which are basically the channels through which the flow of godly energy flows into the world. So there's different channels. There's the right channel, means it's going through without any obstacles. Generosity. Then there's the flow, which is strictness, which means there's a limitation there. There's a restriction.
Hashem's divine
Right, it's the divine. These are the 10.
From him,
Like
yes.
for example, right, like what's mentioned in different verses that the Eibishter created the world with 10 things. Basar Dvarim. So basically, it reflects the 10 attributes. The channel, the 10 the attribute, the channel of the 10 attributes. Malchus is the lowest and the middle of everything. Malchus receives from all.
Take it.
Okay, so it receives everything. So now Yankov is in the middle. Yankov is Tiferes. So Yankov is in the middle column, and he is looking for the channels that can receive from him, so he goes through Yosef, and he also goes through Rachel. Rachel is Malchus, and that's how he's able to bring down from Lavan, which is also high up there, also in the middle. What is the difference between the middle and the other two? The other two are restricted in their structure. The right columns are restricted. They are chesed, they cannot be gvura. They can't be strict, that's their way. It's like a person has a nature. He's a good person, you can't ask him to do something bad to somebody else. Then you have other people that are rougher people, very strict people, harsh people, and these people, it's hard for them to sometimes do a favor to someone else, for someone else. Then you have mercy, which is in the middle. As mentioned earlier, that blends together the two, that although someone doesn't deserve, but have mercy. You know, give him a break. So Chassidus explains that the two columns, what is their root up there? Their root up there is the external part of Keser, the external part of the crown. They don't get to the most unique level in Keser, because they themselves are in their own structure. Since they don't go out of their structure, you can't expect that they should go up there and reach the highest level, because they're still existing in their own entity. Chesed is chesed and not gvura. Gvura is gvura, not chesed. So you can't expect they should reach something which is higher than their entity. The middle one, since it's a blend from both, it shows a unique godly revelation that could unite two opposites. And therefore this shows that it can reach up to a higher level yet than the other two. And that is why the Kavha Emtsoi, the middle column, goes to Pnimius HaKeser. It reaches to the highest level of Keser.
So that's the best attribute to look at.
That's the right. So this middle column is very unique, because this middle column is actually drawing from the highest level in Keser. And this is what Yankov wanted. He says, I'm going to take from Lavan, from the level of the crown, working for Lavan, and I will draw down, and I want it to come down all the way into this world, with all the details, in all ways and shapes possible. As he will explain further why the details are so vital. He says, and then he says further, he says, I will work for Rachel. He says, what does it mean, Rachel? He says, it says a person gets the livelihood and the merit of their wife. So therefore, he says, I will work as a benefit, I will work and benefit as a merit that I'm receiving in the merit of my wife. So this is what he says. The lashon is berachel bitcha aktana. I will work for Rachel, your youngest daughter. What does it mean? It means to say that she's also the channel through which he's getting his parnasa, his livelihood, because it says a person receives blessing from above in the merit of their wife.